Three of a 30-day challenge, educating minds. I hope you like my glitter. It's meant to be snow, actually. So just to show how cold I am today and how cold it has been. I hope you are good and I hope your week is on to a great start. Today is going to be a bit short, and I've come in a bit earlier because I've been doing a lot of training recently, and I'm diverting a little bit and opening up my mind to new areas, and I am doing some training in trade and investment. It's just getting so interesting. So today I'm looking at something a bit I talk about it a lot, structure, but the theme, it's the question I have for you: what happens when you're not around? Okay, and it might not be something drastic, but there's always going to be a time when you, as a business owner, as a school owner, even as a parent, as a teacher, there's always going to be a time when you're not around because you're doing something else. It might not be something drastic that you pass on or something, but that's also something to have at the back of our mind. So what happens when you're not around and things have to still go on? Okay, what happens? And one of the things I talk about a lot, I talk about structure, especially because every time we do coaching with school owners in our network, education leaders in our network, one of the main areas they're concerned about is that how do I make sure, my business still runs? Or how do I make sure that they're doing the right thing when I'm not around or when I travel or if I'm ill? And this is a concern, a genuine concern of most people. So people work themselves to the bone. And some people, it could be theirs on their part because they're not able to delegate. Some people, it's because they really feel these people are not ready. All right? And so it's really important. So what I've done here, today I'll just try and make it a bit short so I can jump out and get ready for my training. That's why I've joined in a bit earlier. Okay, so what happens when you're not around or if you're not around? One of the things I think to start with is that we must be true to ourselves. One thing to start with is that you must be true to yourself. You must understand that you're not indispensable, okay? And you would have to be going somewhere at some stage. You need to be able to, if you're a business owner watching this or you're a school owner, you need to be able to run your business with a time frame in mind. For example, knowing that, okay, after 2 3 years I want to be able to step back a little, delegate a bit more roles and let people handle some aspects so I can observe them and all that. Okay, so it starts from a place of you being authentic and really self-assessing, knowing what it is exactly your vision is and what you want to achieve. Okay, so it starts from you looking inwards, really looking to see what it is, knowing that this is something you have to do, because many people don't think about it. They start a business as if they're the only ones, nobody else is going to come there. All right, even for teachers, so this is for leaders and teachers, even people who are teachers. There have been times when I was teaching when maybe I fell ill, or I was maybe when I was traveling to have my kids or something, or going on maternity leave. You're not going to be around. That means you have to leave things in a way that whoever is handling your class can flow without them having to call you all the time or do SOS. I remember when I was traveling to have one of my kids and I was teaching then, I had arranged everything so neatly. I was even the one calling them. You guys are not calling me. What's happening? They said, we didn't need to call you. Everything was so arranged. I'd labeled things, arranged them, structured them. I tried to have a meeting with two other colleagues that in case they switch teachers and we don't know who's going to be teaching, they can also put the next person through, So knowing that this is something that is a likely thing to happen, okay? So whether it's that you're traveling or something really does happen and you're no more, okay? It's really important for us to start by being authentic and real, okay? We must know this something's going to happen. And then you must, secondly, you must understand what your actual business is about, okay? What are your core solutions and services? What do you actually do? Okay, you must actually understand what it is. So when you understand what it is, because sometimes just look at it and say, oh yeah, I'm just a business owner, I'm just a teacher. But the details, you want to detail everything so that we know, okay, we actually handle admissions, we actually have a lot of parent relations, we have a lot of curriculum development. So these are all the things that we do. When you know the things that you do and you're very clear on all these things, so you don't just think, I'm only a teacher, I'm only a school owner. You're also a community stakeholder because you have to relate to many people. When you've put all those things together and you've detailed them, you now, which is most central to everything, you must always start with having the right people in place. If you don't have the right people in your advisory board, in your staff team, in your work team, even in your home, this can also apply to when you in your home. If you have to travel maybe for business and you have to leave your home with leave the children at home for even a 1 week period, what structure do you also have in place? So you must also know that at the back of your mind, okay, so people that say things like, no, I'm working, I never want to have someone working for me, or I don't want anyone being there. Think about it again and be realistic. Think about the fact that we all need to have help. We all need support. Okay, so once you have determined what it is that you've thought about it, you've been realistic about it, you have broken down the aspects of what exactly you do, broken it down the key areas that are your core services and products as an organization. Then you want to now, they said, you're right. Sorry, I had a phone call coming. Yes, you really want to make sure that you have people who understand you and who are in tune with what it is that you do. Okay, you really want to make sure that. And then thirdly, I think that's very important, which is something we use all the time. You need to create proper processes and systems in your organization. So does everyone know who is in charge of what? One thing we used to do in our company is that we used to try and once in a while, when we remember, we would have people switch roles, even if it's just for a few minutes or hours. So we'll take out time and go and see, okay, let me see what the security guards actually do. Let me see what the front desk, what do they actually do? And it helped us see the loopholes. So there's a time when our front desk person, and then it happened quite a lot. There's always something. Maybe I think one of them had some classes she was doing, so she wasn't around every Wednesday. That meant that there was that gap to fill. And so it was important for me to take out time to study the roles and then have two other people study those roles, so that when she wasn't around, we're not having to call her or wonder what's going on when she's not around. Okay, and so it's really important for you. I just try to take down some notes so that I don't forget. Okay, so you must really understand all that. What roles are indispensable for daily operations, and what roles can you do without? What roles are like general people you call in once in a while, like your external vendors, okay? And what are those key roles that you cannot do without on a daily basis? You must be able to have this picture and then document as much as you can. Document everything so that people know that what should be going on in my organization by 8 in the morning, for example. What should be going on at 9? So that if I was to come in and visit, and I'm like, oh, this is 9:30. Why are the children not eating? Or why is this not happening at this time? Okay, so it really takes you being authentic, trying to clarify your vision as much as possible, have some sort of plan or time frame in your head, knowing that at some stage you're going to have to delegate a few more roles, because you need to also be growing as a leader. Okay, you need to be growing. So even if you're a teacher, there will come a time when you're traveling for a course. What if you're traveling for a course or something? Okay, so you want to make sure that you put those structures in place, and having structures without having the right people doesn't really work. So you need to have the right people in your system. Okay, so that's it for today. So what happens when you're not around? I want you to think about that on a simple context and in a higher context. Okay, you want to think about if anything happens and you're no more. You're running this business. Who's taking over things? Who handles things next? Okay, these are not things that people like to talk about. For some reason we don't talk about them a lot, but they're the realities. I'm saying this because for some reason, when I go for walks here, you see a lot of funeral homes. They're like, I don't see that back home. I don't see a lot of those everywhere. See a lot of funeral homes. You see a lot of adverts about funeral insurance, and I'm like, what's up with you people? So it's more common here. You see it more commonly. I know that we don't talk about that that often, and we've been getting a lot of rude shocks this year. I put up on our other platforms. We lost 2 very key school owners in the same vehicle. They had a ghastly motor accident. I mean, I'm still in shock. I still can barely get over that, so it's really horrible to think about it. And I know that they are also one of those really highly structured places where things will continue to run seamlessly. But I think it's a wake-up call for a lot of us too. because so many things are going on. The world is going really crazy, from the protests, pandemic, the lockdown, the recession. There's so much going on, and we have to make sure that at least we can do is that we can just build up. I mean, the more you're doing, the more you're putting in this structure, you're also, showing that you have hope that things would work out well. Okay. So think about it. What happens when that says when you're around. That should be when you're not around. I should change that. Let me put that here. I'll take that off and everything. I made a mistake. And do that. So it's supposed to be when you're not around. Okay, so that's something to think about. Know that it happens, and we, at some stage, you're not always going to be there to answer all the questions. You're not always going to be there to be able to actualize your vision. So you must be able to pass this on to others. So that's it for today. Thank you so much for being part of this, and I hope you, again, when you watch it, you like the the snowflakes here. Okay, so thank you very much, and see you tomorrow. Don't forget, on Saturday we have all the tribe leaders who'll be joining and be popping in to the video, so we'll have them all together. So thank you very much.